All right, so we got something to do before we start doing some deck lists. It's something that we always do when the new sets come out. It's time for the mother effing tier list.
For the
So,
effing tier list.
so for some reason, I thought that there was more. I think that this is generally more than most sets, other than like the side sets, because Commander Legends had probably the most legendaries that we've ever had ever, right? Other than maybe Dominaria.
I don't know. Kamigawa had a lot too, though, because there was like a whole legendary theme to it.
Betrayers of Kamigawa. What? That's something I gotta look into later. I'm
Mm.
curious. I feel, but like, think about Commander Legends had like all of the partner commanders, and there was like 70, right?
There was a lot of them. Anyway,
Yeah.
let's get this and not go too.
Okay.
So
So
our boy is up first.
hold on. All right. So I can't read these very well, so I don't
So
know if
the
you want to
first
like.
one is I got it
Yeah.
up here.
Okay.
And Hilo the Painter. He's the casualty two guy.
Yeah, we just talked about him.
So we know
Okay.
how strong instant sorceries are. Having a copy or from the command zone for 3 mana
Very strong.
is very strong.
I think it's really strong,
Yeah,
and
I stick him.
I probably that's like an no, not you.
Wrong, dude. I stick him in A.
That's A for sure. I agree. As far as how high that goes, but for now, I think you can do some shit with him. Like,
100%, especially if you had like all the token generators.
mhm. Also the
Well,
easiest. This is the easiest way to combo with Ralzeric, and you also get to play because it's Grixis. You also finally get to play Professor Onyx as a
mhm,
win condition, and if you want to go bonker Tito's, you can play Chain of Smog, which is the other way to just win with Ralzeric or Professor Onyx, where you
mhm.
target yourself and you infinitely discard and they lose the game. Uh okay, what is this dude?
So that's Bernie Brack Zoologist. He's Convoke, and whenever and at the beginning of each end step, if you created a token this turn, draw a card. So he's a little bit of an engine for token decks. It's each end step too, so you have a way to make tokens off your turn. You still get the draw.
In white though?
But then, again, like I said, white has been kind of creeping up in what it can do,
Right, and I
and
know it works with Smothering Tithe, but is this like a
I'd say he's probably it's because
I'd say B. If it
I
if
would
it
say
had
between
green too.
B and C, because all he is kind of a little bit of a payoff for token making,
Mhm.
but it's all so then it's only as good as the tokens that you're making, and like
And it's only
unless you're
white.
making if you're not making crazy great tokens like a bunch of angels, the usually their tokens are relatively small.
Mhm. And it's only drawing once, right?
Yeah,
So I think it's fine, but I don't know. Yeah, that's a B or a C for me. What do you think?
yeah, I think around the same. Like probably top of C, just because like still just getting the draw in white and while you're committing to your
Mhm.
own strategy is kind of cool.
I don't
Anyway,
like
next
that
I
it cut
see.
off the colors, but it's fine.
Anyway, next we have best soul nourisher. So she's and maybe it's because we zoomed in. If you zoom out, will it fix it?
No.
No, okay. So she's whenever one or more other creatures with base power toughness 1 or 1 enter the battlefield under your control, you put a +1 counter on her. And then
Mhm.
whenever she attacks, each other creature you control with base power toughness 1/1 gets +X for X number +1 counters on her. So she's kind of like that bear that whenever you play a creature, she gets more counters on her, and then when she attacks, she crater hoofs. So it's 1/1 tribal, I guess, which
It's pretty good.
is pretty decent. I think in
I think
green
I
and
think
white,
yeah, I think
because
that's
it has green, because especially if you're going go wide creature strategies, there's so many good cards that benefit with that now too, and uh, with stuff like shamanic revelations and whatnot. Like I think
mhm.
it's really easy
Oh,
to just
totally.
go really wide.
Chrome as well. Yeah. No, I
Mm.
totally agree with you. All right, so this one is nuts. This might be an S tier one.
That
This is
is.
the it makes Grixis mana, and then when it dies, you get an instant or sorcery back from your hand.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this might be an S tier one to me.
Because I know it already goes. Technically, you have infinite reanimations and deaths if you have what is it? Exhume.
Anything like it Malakir rebirth effects. Do you know how many black cards that say when this creature dies, return it to the battlefield this turn?
Oh yeah, that's right. Malakir Rebirth would make it would generate
You
you
don't want
infinite.
to use Malakir rebirth because that one makes you lose 2 life, but there are ones that are 1 mana that like. See, the thing is you have to have a payoff. So it's a 3-piece combo where it's you have to have the sack outlet, the like a payoff, like a way to win, and then like which it's easy in those colors. Grixis is actually the best at that. You get Professor Onyx again, like, and you do it. It's not copies this time. You can win with like any of the ones that when you cast a spell you deal damage. So it is very or like the Zulport Blood Artist also works. Like there's so many payoffs to just win, and it's the perfect colors to tutor for this and protection. It's blue. I think as far as casual standards go, if you build this one correctly, and the mana cost that it is, and the fact that it's also just a ramp source to play your tutors, because
Yeah,
it ramps. Like I think this is an easy S.
yeah, you're just right. Yeah, it's just really good Grixis. Like Grixis already is like the Storm King
Yeah,
commander
I think it's a
colors.
fair version of Kess.
Yeah,
I think it's
yeah.
just more
Catch
fair
is kind of
Kess.
silly.
Yeah, because like this needs a little bit more. Like yeah, you could play the Thassa Oracle stuff in this deck too, but like we don't usually play that in casual stuff. So like it this is just a more fair Kess, and it's ridiculous. Like this is the perfect colors for what you're trying to do, and it's got haste, so you get to tap for stuff right away. So like I don't know, definitely very good. Okay, so what is this thing?
That one is. Let
So
me
some of
find
these are
it.
from Commander decks too, just so you
Yeah,
understand.
no, I have both pulled up.
Okay.
That looks like. Oh, here. So it's Denry Kinlan, editor in chief. So 4 mana 2/2. When he enters the battlefield with your choice of a +1/+1 first strike or vigilance counter on him, and whenever a non-token creature you control enters the battlefield, if it has a counter on it, put the same number and kind of counter on that creature. So whatever he has, everything enters with the same counter.
That can get kind of silly.
Yeah.
The problem is
So
if he dies, then the whole deck is kind of. Well, I guess +1 decks are just still good. Like it's just
yeah, if you're
how good of a payoff is that, honestly.
uh, it says the same number of that kind
What
of counter.
color
So
is
if
it? Green, white?
he's blue white.
Oh, he's blue, white.
So if he has like 5+1 counters on him, then things enter with 5+1 counters on him.
That seems good, but are we struggling a little bit with the blue and not having green?
Yeah, green I think is better with this. This probably wants like the more of like the utility counters than just going +1/+1s. And +1 counters aren't bad in these colors. Just is nowhere near as good as green. You really want green or
I think
green
this is
black.
going C or B. What do you
I
think?
put it C.
Yeah.
I think he's worse than
Yeah.
the draw dude
Okay, so
because
this thing's cool. This is
it's
Twinning
cool.
Staff the Commander, the next one.
Yeah.
So is it a
Well,
one
not
drop?
really.
Is it a
Well,
one drop?
yeah, he's a one drop. So it's a little bit worse because it has to be a spell that wasn't cast. So it has to be something that's already copied. So I guess because Twinning Staff can generically have the ability to copy.
Oh, I see
Uh,
what you're saying because it has the payoff. Yeah, but what I mean is the top effect is the same.
hmm
It's stealing the top effect, not the bottom effect.
And then
Where
it's just Flash Defender Haste.
how good is this as a mono blue deck though? I feel like you can. I feel like this is hard because you're missing red. Like I think this is a good card, but not a great commander.
No, there it's so like I mean we have stuff like Jin
Swarm
and the
Intelligence is
new
like your best friend, but again, how do you tutor it? There's one card in the game that can
yeah
tutor it.
like then it's like stuff like Swarm Intelligence or anything that like there's not like all the things that are copies are all like
Primal
okay.
Amulet.
So it's
Uh,
like Twin Staff,
you have to
Echo
flip
Storm,
Primal Amulet.
Twin Cast, Insidious Will, Narcissus Reversal.
Mhm.
Wandering Archaic,
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't think it's. I don't.
Nerumeha,
I.
Lithoform Engine. Like you have to really devote into like.
I think this is C or D.
I actually might stick it in D because I think it's just too specific.
Okay.
Even trying to build towards it, you have to run not optimal cards. You're just trying to find the best cards that make copies.
I totally agreed.
Yeah, it's not a
Is
huge
this the
fan.
guy that does the thing with the vampires?
That one is when it or another vampire enters the battlefield
Yeah.
under your control, exile the top card of each player's library with a
This
collection
this
counter on
card's
it.
cool.
Yeah, once of each turn, you may play a card from exile with a collection counter on it. If it was exiled by an ability you controlled, and you spend mana, it was any mana.
Is it Jund?
No, it's
Grixis?
Grixis.
Okay. So Grixis vampires. It's also just a value card. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's
you have the important colors, which is red, black,
the cool thing is because it's when him or another vampire attacks,
or I think it's is it
enters battlefield. Oh yeah, whenever a vampire enters the battlefield under your control. So yeah, it's more ETB. It's probably a different kind of vampire deck. So you just want some good ETB effects.
Mhm.
It's just one of those like fun cards where people are like, I don't want to play your deck,
How good
but
is
you do
that
have to.
though?
But then you have to commit to vampires. I mean, they're just okay. I think it's because you have to commit to vampires, so it makes it just okay. Because
Mhm.
like Atali is kind of cool because you have to cast it for free, but you don't revolve around Atali being like Atali is just good because this you still have to cast them.
Mhm.
You have to play vampires. So now you're in Grixis, like where you could like if it was just creatures or a creature entered, maybe a different story. But I probably worded it a good way so there isn't like infinite ETB shenanigans.
Mhm.
I don't know.
I think it's C. I don't think it's so bad that it's this, because I mean you can make vampires work for sure. It's just like a bad payoff, pretty much. All right.
So the next one, Falco's Spara, the Pact Weaver. So it's flying trample 3/3 and enters with a shield counter on it. It's a bird demon. You may look at the top card of your library anytime, and you may cast spells from the top of your library by removing a counter from a creature you control in addition to paying its other costs.
It's
So
Bant.
it's Bant Future Sight, but you have to remove a counter the cast the top,
Mm.
and it already enters with a
So
shield
it's
counter on it.
counters, tribal, and bans.
So like you probably have the best colors for it. You have your blue protection, green for draw, white for some other shenanigans. I think those are the best color combinations for just +1 counters. And it says remove a counter from them. So if you're just doing +1 counters, you potentially have infinite off the top if you want to. Especially if you have anything that proliferates counters on stuff,
Yeah,
then you're basically
I'm
just future
thinking B.
sighting forever.
I'm thinking B or C.
Yeah, it's just like a fair +1 counter deck thing that lets you play off the top of your deck.
Uh,
And getting that little extra dig is just really cool.
Do you think B or C?
I think B,
Yeah, I agree.
just because the color combos, you're open up to a lot of power in that color.
This thing's
That's
cool.
the angel thing.
Yeah, so it's got flying and vigilance, and I think it's whenever angels enter the battlefield under your control, they get a +1/+1 for each +1/+1 among angels you control.
No, they enter with additional +1 counter on it for each angel you already control. You control 4 angels, they enter with 4
And it
counters.
taps for white for
Mana to cast.
angels.
Yeah. So literally the tribal angel commander in mono white that everybody wanted. It's thematically cool. It's still I know mono white has gotten better, and we have gotten a lot of lower cost angels, but I still think you
I
really
think
need.
it's still just a like lands here for me.
Yeah, I still think you really need another color to really, really get it to go over the edge.
Hmm. Is this the Blitz guy?
Yeah,
Okay,
that's the Blitz Commander.
so what color was this again? 9?
That's Jund.
Just Jund. Okay, so I think this one has potential. Cheating in Big Idiots and then like being able to abuse the sacrifice with either copying or like tokens or anything. I think this has potential. I think this lands in B just for the sheer fact that you're cheating in Big Idiots, and that usually always goes well. You know?
It's funny is that he's the most made like tried commander from the commander precons so
I
far.
I I I
Really
think I think this can be nuts. Wait, what does the bottom effect do? It
it's
makes
that
them cost less, right?
for each time you've cast your commander from the command zone this game.
Right.
So
Okay.
if he's in play, they're generically creatures cost one less when you blitz them. Don't forget, I completely forgot like cool things that we have for this deck. Like we have like the new spirit dragons that when they die they do stuff like the one that reanimates a non
There's tons of them.
demon thing.
Die trigger. Like this commander is 100% doable, and you're in the black colors, so you can make this really strong. You
Mm-hmm.
can also do like March of the Multitudes, right? Whenever like a
Mm-hmm.
creature enters, you can like try to make a copy, or like the other. What is the is it Flame Tongue Conjuring? Is that the name of the enchantment? That like when a creature enters, hold on, flame,
No, flame shadow conjuring.
flame shadow conjuring. That's what it is.
So yeah, one run red, you get to make a. Oh,
Yeah,
and Tom, you get to slam Grave Pact in this deck.
and if you make copies of them, they don't have the blitz cost. I'm pretty sure. So I believe that was a ruling that they made at the tournament. But I think this has potential. I think this goes in A. It's in the perfect colors for this. And cheating
Mm.
things in and letting them die. And also, it's just when they die that turn. So if you just want to play this as like, I flash this in, sack it off to an altar, and it dies, like this could be like a combo storm kind of deck that plays like all the things that when they die you draw a card, and now you're just like playing every creature for a discounted cost and like basically doing whatever stupid ETB or die trigger that they have and like drawing off the fact that you have like Beast Whisperer plus like or like Guardian Project plus like I'm drawing off this green card and when it dies off of like this creature. I think this could be very good.
Yeah, and you're still running like again, it's like an aristocrat style deck where you get to like haste them in. Also, don't forget like having some of a haste enabler for things that like don't normally have haste in these colors is kind of good, kind of cool.
Yeah, and again, Teamer Sabretooth, bounce it back.
Mhm.
You know?
Or like slamming down like a if you have enough mana for it, if you've like sacked him, play him for like 5. Now your blitz costs 2 less. You play
Mhm.
any like other creature reducer, and let's go to town.
Yep. All right, so this dude. I know
That's
he's a
that.
copier and he is Blitz, but
So it's 1 red and tap, discard a card, create a token that's a copy of another target creature you control. It gains haste. When this creature dies, draw a card. Sacrifice at the beginning of the next end step. Activate only as a sorcery. So you get discard to make a copy of a creature, and then it does its blitz effect, and it itself has blitz.
it just seems fair but doable.
So
So
you discard a card to get a copy of a creature you already have, and it gains haste. And then when it dies, you draw a card. I mean, it's kind of cool, I guess.
yeah.
I feel like it takes a lot of work to really get this going.
Yeah. I think it's definitely doable though. Like there's something there. I don't
I
think
think
it's
it
to
being
this level. I think it's like
no,
at the back of
yeah.
C. Yeah. So here's the next one.
So that's the Ognis, the Dragon's Lash. So it's 3/3 with haste. Whenever a creature you control with haste attacks, create a tapped treasure token. Haste tribal.
And
That's kind
it's
of cool because
Gruul.
it's yeah, it's Gruul.
This is pretty good. It's not whenever it's not when it's every time something with haste attacks. So if
You
you
know what's
play
funny?
like a something that gives everything haste, then everything just makes a treasure.
Like Rhythm of the Wild.
Or Hammer of Perforos or Fervor.
You know, it's funny. I was curious to see
Does
what
he
people
have
made it.
haste?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at worst, you get a treasure token the meat turn.
I
You
think
know what else?
this
You know what else has haste, Tom? Goldspan Dragon. You also know what this deck is? I was curious. It's literally just the treasure deck with Marionette Master in it, and you just
it's
make a
got
lot more mana.
black. What are
Yeah,
the colors?
it's
It's Jund.
it's Jund, black, red, green.
Okay, so then I'm gonna put it up here then. There's some stuff you can do with that for sure.
Tom, did you know Bootlegger Stash pre-release right now is at $42
I
on Card
don't.
Kingdom?
Yeah,
CCG has it at
that's the one
28.
that you tap a land to make a.
Treasure token, yeah.
Yeah.
But I was curious. So someone what people were making with it, and the top cards are Zorn, Goldspan Dragon, Reckless Fireweaver, Marionette Master,
Yeah, makes sense.
and Urabrask because it gives everything haste, and
Does
Magda.
this go here or top of B?
Uh, so this is Treasures Matter deck. It looks like more than anything. So I guess it depends how good you think treasures are with all their new support and stuff.
Also, it's still just a Jund creature deck. Like you still just
Mhm.
play all the good. I'm attacking with haste creatures as
And you
well.
still just slam in Corvold into it, and then you sack all your treasures that you make and draw a
Yeah,
bazillion cards.
this seems good to me. Oh, so this is the Naya one that like if you have like 9 or more or something, like they get like vigilance, double strike, and
Yeah. Creatures you
trample.
control get +1/+0 and vigilance if you have 3 or more creatures. They get +1/+0 and trample if you have 6 or more, and double strike if you control a 9 or more. So it's Bant creature go wide.
No, Naya, right?
Sorry, Naya.
Yeah.
Naya creature go wide.
I mean, it seems good to me. I don't know if
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
is it A though or is it the, like top of
well,
B?
let's see. Naya is 100% creature-based strategies, and I
Yes.
think there is enough in these kind of colors where either you're going either token strategies, or there's just all the ETB stuff that goes wide. This is the best colors for it,
Mhm.
honestly, and your
Oh,
best ways
100%.
to. So I think because of its color pie, it would probably. I think it might fall into the like low A, upper B. Because when you start going wide
I
creatures,
think I agree with you because I think double strike. So here's the thing: is it's they get everything. So it's +3/+0, double strike, trample, vigilance. That's a lot of
hmm
things. Vigilance matters a lot, and double strike means that you can win. And there's a lot of creatures. Like also think of like Avenger, where you're like, I'm gonna play this, and now I have a million plants, and now I don't even need to play a land. All these plants are +4 or +3 double striking vigilant tramplers, and I just
or
made the 9 creatures that I need, and I have my Halo fountain,
mm,
and I win the game. So who needs to attack anymore? I'm in Naya, Derek. I don't need to attack. Who needs to
or
attack?
you can also just run Scoot Swarm, and that will do it.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think that this is like a fair. It's a really strong payoff for a Naya commander.
Yeah, because like the more you dictate to the board, you push to the
Mhm.
board.
So this is
The
the Naya one that replaces with either the 2/2 cats with haste, right, or like the 3/1s
oh
with
yes,
vigilance.
yeah, this is yeah. If you would create 1 or more tokens instead, create a 2/2 green
So it does
cat
count with
creature token
treasures.
or 3/1. Yeah. So it is also more Naya colors, but like you just said, you play what's its face Avengers Zendikar, and now you get a bunch of 3/1s. Or no 2/2s with haste.
And in these colors, you can also play the one that's off of basic lands if you know you're reasonably ramping.
Honestly, it's almost the same exact like deck list that you'd probably want for Jetmir,
Hmm.
the one that we just looked at, because it's probably like in the same vein or trying to do the same thing.
Yeah, I
But
don't see a world where like Jetmir doesn't become just like a card as like a payoff. He's kind of just like those Audrey cards that like you just play him in a deck because it's like a payoff. And I feel the same way about Halo Fountain. But
mhm. I think that one's a little bit
I don't.
worse.
Yeah, this one is definitely worse because the problem is if you get stuck with it and like like let's say something is making like a bigger token, then like you're stuck with choosing, right? Or
hmm
does it say may?
Uh, um, if you would, it's a replacement.
Yeah.
It's mandatory.
So it's definitely a good strategy, but I probably put it like somewhere around here.
It's funny. It's the flavor text is she watches Jetmir's back while her companions watch hers.
I think it
Yeah,
lands
I
around here.
agree.
But okay, what is this one?
So then that one is where is it? Oh, there it is. Jolene the Plunderer Queen. Uh,
Jolene, Jolene.
so she's 4 mana 2/2. Whenever a player attacks one or more of your opponents, that the attacking player creates a treasure token. If you had created 1 or more treasure tokens, instead create those tokens plus an additional treasure token. Sacrifice 5 treasures, and she gets 5+1 counters put on her. Yeah, she gives treasure to your opponent.
I mean,
I know
like,
you get
she's not terrible. It's just, what are the colors?
it's red green.
You don't even get marionette. What are they? Why does this? Why does this get the black, but this doesn't get the black? This is only green red.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
yeah, something in my eye real quick.
See, like, it's not the worst deck in the world. I think it lands here. I just don't like giving value, but that doesn't mean the commander is terrible. And the strategy is good.
I
And
mean, it's also still if you're playing just generic treasure stuff, she does generate you additional one. And it's whenever a play. So you know what it kind of reminds me of? It's that one weird thing like whenever a creature attacks anybody except for you, they draw a card. The what was that the
yes,
the
I'm
Simic
just not
commander.
a fan of giving value for an effect that just makes an extra treasure. We have so many effects that do that, Derek. Do we really care? Like, we have so many.
But I
What?
guess it works repeatedly. It's not once a turn. So like you cast like so
Yeah,
that
like
makes
doubling
two
season.
treasures, you get three. Or yeah,
Jorn always works like that. Like, we have a million ways to do this that we don't need. Goldspan works like that because it doubles the mana for the treasure. So like, I just think having that as your payoff is not good to me because it's giving them the treasure, right?
yeah. They get one treasure and then you get an additional. But but if they attack you, they don't get the treasure.
But you get one.
You only get one when actually let me read it how it's worded again. It's only attacking. Yeah, whenever a player attacks one or more of your so if you attack too, you also get treasure because it's whenever it attacks an opponent. So it's literally worded exactly how the other commander
So
dude is.
it's not the worst in the world. I just hate giving value,
Yeah,
and I don't think it's as good as these. Because yes, you are making mana, so maybe there's like a weird, like, creature attacking storm deck here that I'm not seeing. But like, I don't think that
you still
treasure. You're missing like the most important payoff color for treasures, which is black, and like, eh, I, I don't know. It just seems medium to me. You're gonna make a lot of treasures, but so are your opponents. And I'm okay with giving mana, but like, if it's constant, I'm not okay with it. For an extra treasure, like, that just doesn't seem good enough for me. I think it's definitely C. But all right, so
uh,
what's this one? Oh,
oh
Derek,
that's
Brass's bounty with this commander. I just
yeah,
had a thought. So,
true.
like, like, you play that spell that's like, you look for basics equal to the number of like tap creatures you control. That's like 3 mana or whatever, and then you go Brass's bounty. And then they're all 2/2 cats, and everyone dies. And you got your Jetmir out, so now they're all 5/2s with vigilance, double strike, and trample.
And or haste. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, all right.
Anyway, so the next one is Kami is the obscure
This is the
Oculus.
things
It's one.
have.
Yeah, tag creature can't be blocked, connives, and another creature has double strike with lesser power.
It's Esper.
Yeah.
This good. I think this is actually good.
So yeah, there are some
Reanimator.
really. So
Yeah.
yeah, you get some really cool reanimators. There's also a lot of decently good like attacking creatures. You also get to run some ninjutsu stuff.
Also,
That's kind of
just
cool.
think. Yeah, think about this as like. Okay, so like, it's things that you want to deal damage. So this is like, it could be like a Lord of the Void kind of thing, or like a, it's
Hmm.
kind of like Satoru, like the broken ass ninja that we just got. Definitely not as good. But like, kind of like the same kind of style of like cheating things into play. And also the hand fixing is great. Like, if you're just dead drawing lands, having the ability to discard. Also, remember, it puts counters on things too.
Yeah. So
If
it
you
can
discard a
make.
non-land card.
So you get to constantly make something unblockable, and then something else gets double strike. And if you're already running some
It
unblockable
seems good to
creatures,
me. And just as a commander, like, that you're getting to loot something every turn to reanimate it. Like, if you go that route, it seems like multifunctional to me. I'm thinking it's here. Because I'm seeing a world where like I'm cheating in like a creature that has a disgusting like damage dealt like effect, like dealing damage, or like Do we go an even funnier way, Derek, and make like a Voltron deck? Do we just
I mean,
like jam a fucking like a coitus spike on something and just like
well, we can also. The
just
thing is,
like
like,
they lose half their life rounded down twice?
or just imagine a world where we play Shadow Mage Infiltrator and then Thief of Sanity.
No,
You make
yeah,
the
that kind of
Thief
stuff.
of,
Yes,
yes,
exactly.
Thief of
Yeah,
Sanity can't be blocked,
Lord
and
of
then
the
you double
Void.
counter.
Yeah,
Or
exactly.
Rex Seal is also
Yeah,
another thing we do.
and you get double the stuff because it's when they deal damage. So I agree. Like I think that this is gonna be a good commander, even though it's just one thing that matters. Like and
You know,
things not being blocked, that's insane.
I just realized if you give Drana the double strike because of her effect, everything gets 2 counters on them.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, actually, yeah, I think that's actually really good. And then you're also, because the problem with the usual like attack strategies is sometimes you miss out on the good protection colors. But like you're in the best protection colors
Esper,
and
yeah,
and
literally the best.
reanimation colors for creatures, so you could
Not even
definitely
a
build this.
contest. This is
Yeah,
the best protection colors, hands down. All
yeah,
right, I agree. I think this has serious potential. We're just not like because again, even in the direction of just doing reanimation, like getting like in a world where like you animate dead in like a Rex Seal. Because what's the commander? It's like 3 mana, 4. This one,
the
how much
which
is he?
one?
3 or 4?
4 mana.
Yeah. So in a universe where like you ramp and then get this out on turn 3, then you're like, cool. Here comes this. I'm gonna like double strike in like even just like a creature that just says when it deals damage you get to draw a card, or like, and it has multiple good effects. You're like, cool, I'm gonna draw 2 cards, connive, ditch this creature that I want to reanimate, which is like Lord of the Void, and now next turn you're dealing with a Lord of the Void with like an animate dead. And even if you don't want to go in that direction and like you just like the unblockable aspect, like you want to go in the direction of just all the Lord of the Void effects and you don't want to reanimate, she's just got that flexibility. You know?
Hmm.
Is the connive a May? Like, do you have to give something connive?
It's like
How is the commander worded again? Can
that
you?
creature can die. I actually think connive is mandatory to have a creature connive. Uh, Draw a card, then discard a card. If you discard a non-land card, put a +1 counter on that creature.
Which again, you're gonna want to, right? Because if you
Mhm.
want, if you do stupid reanimator things, you know. But yeah, so I'm a fan.
So the next one we have is the Kit Kanto, the Mayhem Diva. She's the one that you tap 2 creatures to give a creature on whose combat it is +2/+2 and trample at the end of turn, and you goad it.
It's not bad.
So I see a really weird version of this deck where you're playing more like a control,
It's Naya.
Naiad control, where like you have your creatures in play. It goes to someone's combat in their turn. You tap your 2 creatures to give it +2/+2 trample,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and then you goad it. And now it's like,
Is it one
okay, so
creature?
yeah, it's one creature because it triggers at the beginning of upkeep, so you pay for the trigger.
No, like it targets one creature.
Yeah,
Okay, all right. Yeah. Well, it
I
seems
think
okay
it'd
to
be
me.
a solid. I think it'd be a cool B because you're playing a creature based deck where you want to commit to something like where you're like creature based colors, and then you're just like basically making it every combat potentially
Yeah.
one annoying creature can't swing at you, or you
Yeah.
have the really big creature kill somebody else.
Goad can get very irritating.
Hmm.
So
That's the dude when you enter at the beginning of your upkeep, put a shield counter on a target creature an opponent controls. Whenever you put one or more counters on a creature you don't control, tap that creature and goad it. It gains trample until your next turn. See, I don't like this dude. Putting a
yeah,
shield counter on something else means that it protects it for the turn. Sure, it has to attack, but you don't get any benefit from it doing that.
yeah, I'm not a fan.
And also, yeah, still like putting shield counters on stuff. Like you dump a shield counter on one of their creatures, they go board wipe. Cool, thanks for protecting my creature.
Yeah, I think this is a D or Rooney.
There might be some random shenanigans that you could potentially do with it, but I just really don't
Is this
like.
the? Oh no, the adventure one's coming out in Baldur's Gate, I think.
I
What is
think
this one
so.
again?
That one, let me find it. That is so she's banned. She's the one that enters. You exile any number of other target creatures controlled
Banisher
by
Priest.
different players.
This
Yeah.
is this is A. It's not even a debate. There's so many combos with this card. Uh, it's gonna be like this. Actually, hmm,
I mean, it already goes. Doesn't it go infinite with like any blink effect? Because Felidar blinks
or
it.
just another Banisher Priest, right? And a sack outlet.
You're in the best colors for shenanigans like this anyway. But yeah, it's just a banned blink commander.
I think it might land here because it loops with a lot of things. You're gonna be rough to find like a payoff, you know? Because like, what's your payoff, right? I guess you make infinite mana and try to do something.
Wait, wait. Oh, I see how this is supported. Heh. Oh, that's almost funny. So
What?
if you don't target any of your things, and then you blink it, and then you have a containment priest in play, just they get exiled for good.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's
I
probably
I
something
dude.
just because of how cheap it is too. It's because only 3 drop.
Yeah, and I guess your payoff would be like, okay, I can draw my library easily because you just have like a Guardian project out or something. But like, the thing is like, you got to get creative with it. So like, yeah, like it goes infinite easily, but what's the payoff, right? I mean, I guess infinite mana is good enough, right? Because you just like blue sun my deck, or because if you just play any of the altars, then I don't know. What do we think? Do we think this is S or no?
Um,
It infinites easily, but how does it win from there?
Actually, I'm trying to figure out like a way it does kind of. So like you exile a creature, then you have something that blinks it.
Not
So
even
it
just blink,
exiles
Derek. You could sack. Oh no, you can't sack. I'm
re-enters.
being an idiot. Yeah. So You're right. It has to blink.
Well, no, no, you hit if you have Sun Titan because it exiles Sun Titan, then you sacrifice it. Sun Titan comes in, brings it back, sacrifice and puts Sun Titan underneath it, and that makes you infinite mana.
So yeah, there's definitely stuff there, but the thing is you have to have the payoff, right? Like the
But it's the
Genesis
same thing.
wave, or like
Yeah,
some way to win, right?
it's the
Which
same thing if you were doing like
you,
the
Thassa's Oracle, Jace, I guess. You know. But do
and
we
remember
put that here or here? I
then
don't.
it also only hits one thing. So basically, I see it as kind of like a Safi in that sense with like a Sun Titan,
Agreed. Yes.
and
Oh,
it's whatever payoff like. But you do have blue as compared to that deck as being like
yeah, which means you have an
junk.
easier way to win.
I don't know if I put an S. I think it
I
needs a lot more setup to
I
do.
I think it's like a. It's definitely an A.
Hmm.
What is
Our
this? What
next,
is this one again, though? This is
that's the
the.
Blitz dude.
Do I think the Blitz one is? I definitely think. Is it better than this?
I don't know. I think spell combo storm is way more common of a thing than like awkward ETB win. It's not super awkward. I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe
because
they're just comparable.
it's 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 because like it's definitely easy to win. It's definitely doable.
Eh. Anyway, next two.